I'm Julie Banderas, and you are in the strategy room. Hillary Clinton is laying out a new plan her campaign says shows how the former Secretary of State would combat ISIS and, quote, radical jihadism across the globe. Clinton's speech comes as she deals with criticism that under her watch while working for the Obama administration, extremism grew across the Middle East. Here with reaction is Ellen Ratner with Talk Radio News Service. Welcome, Ellen. All right, let's start with what Clinton's strategy is here. Is Clinton trying to revamp her foreign policy strategy?
Well, she has to be very clear because, first of all, it looks like she is the Democratic front runner, although one never knows. A week is a long time in politics, said Ben Franklin, and that was before the fax machine, or television or radio. And so she has got to really deal with the fact that she's the front runner at this point, and she has to counter the Republicans who are after her with knives and forks and everything else. So that's sort of part one. Part two, she also has to counter the Democrats like Bernie Sanders who are saying, hey, wait a second, you voted for the war. And as you know, the Bush administration is somewhat responsible, they say, at least people like Bernie Sanders folks say, for going after Saddam Hussein, getting rid of him, and making ISIS happen. So she's got both of those issues to deal with, and in her speech, she somehow has to address that.
You know, Ellen, critics are blasting Clinton for not saying radical Islam when referring to groups like ISIS. And it's very similar to President Obama and his message. And people want to see a president take a stance and identify this group for what it is, and they are radical Islamists. Is that a mistake by her?
I'm not so sure. I'm not sure that it is even Islam, honestly. I mean, they're taking the name of Islam, but that isn't the Islam that most moderate Muslims in the United States and around the world understand and know. And so are we wanting her and President Obama to take the notion of radical Islam? Or are these people just terrorists, which is what I think they should be called?
But the base of their beliefs is surrounded around their Islamic faith. I mean, so when we call them radical Islamists, I mean, that's indeed what they are. When they're chanting and praising Allah in the midst of trying to murder innocent civilians, they are doing it in the name of their God.
Yes, but is that then going to paint Muslims in this country with something that
that's
they
why
shouldn't
we call
be
them radical.
Either?
We're not calling them
well,
Muslims. We're calling them radical.
But I'm less hung up on that than her overall strategy.
Right.
And we're in the strategy room, so she needs to come up with a strategy that is going to defeat ISIL, as the president calls it, that is going to address the fact that there are millions of refugees that have been displaced not only in Syria, but in Iraq, and she has got to deal with that. She's got to put forth something that is believable and workable and also works not only for Europe, but supposedly for our Middle Eastern partners.
All right. Ellen Ratner, thank you very much, and check out foxnews.com for more on the 2016 presidential election. I'm Julie Banderas. Thanks for watching, everyone.